You need something that won't be afraid to go off-road when the urge for adventure strikes. Nonetheless, every off-roader spends the majority of their time walking on pavement. It is as it is. The ideal all-arounder still fulfills daily requirements while being prepared to face inclement weather or travel down a muddy road. The lightly tough 2023 Subaru Forester and the perennially well-liked 2022 Toyota RAV4 are two of these cars that have been around the longest. Both have a long history of being adaptable and having all-wheel drive incorporated into a package that makes sense. Is the Forester or RAV4 superior when you take into account your daily requirements and weekend warrior whims? Toyota vs Subaru, features and equip. Our rivals are outfitted with the modern crossover necessities, like all-wheel drive, high-tech luxuries, and a plethora of driver assistance technologies. Yet, the RAV4 and Forester trims that were tested here have distinctive personalities. The more trail-ready of the two is the 2022 Toyota RAV4 TRD Off-Road. Its 18-inch black flow-formed wheels are fitted with all-terrain rubber, and a TRD-tuned suspension governs how they move. Thick rubber floor mats and underbody skid plates offer further weatherproofing. Our prior experiences led us to believe that the RAV4 TRD Off-Road isn't nearly as robust as its exterior would have you believe, but if you want the most rugged RAV4, this is it. You need something that won't be afraid to go off-road when the urge for adventure strikes. Nonetheless, every off-roader spends the majority of their time walking on pavement. It is as it is. The ideal all-arounder still fulfills daily requirements while being prepared to face inclement weather or travel down a muddy road. The lightly tough 2023 Subaru Forester and the perennially well-liked 2022 Toyota RAV4 are two of these cars that have been around the longest. Both have a long history of being adaptable and having all-wheel drive incorporated into a package that makes sense. Is the Forester or RAV4 superior when you take into account your daily requirements and weekend warrior whims? Toyota vs Subaru, features and equip. Our rivals are outfitted with the modern crossover necessities, like all-wheel drive, high-tech luxuries, and a plethora of driver assistance technologies. Yet, the RAV4 and Forester trims that were tested here have distinctive personalities. The more trail-ready of the two is the 2022 Toyota RAV4 TRD Off-Road. Its 18-inch black flow-formed wheels are fitted with all-terrain rubber, and a TRD-tuned suspension governs how they move. Thick rubber floor mats and underbody skid plates offer further weatherproofing. Our prior experiences led us to believe that the RAV4 TRD Off-Road isn't nearly as robust as its exterior would have you believe, but if you want the most rugged RAV4, this is it. The closest competitor to the RAV4 TRD Off-Road would be the Forester Wilderness, but for our comparison, we went with a more expensive vehicle. The top-tier model in the Forester portfolio for 2023 is the Subaru Forester Touring, which comes with luxuries like leather upholstery, power-adjustable front seats, heated back seats, a heated steering wheel, built-in navigation, a premium audio system, and, drumroll, please, a CD player. Even while the Touring isn't the finest Forester for tearing down a trail, how often does it actually happen? Although the engines in the RAV4 and Forester are close in size and output, that is about where their similarities end. With a rating of 26/33 of a mile per gallon city/highway compared to the RAV4's 25/30 seconds, the Forester is more fuel efficient. The RAV4 provides larger cargo room behind its second row, with 37.5 cubic feet, and more overall cargo space, with 69.8 cubic feet when those seats are folded, though on lesser Foresters without a sunroof, max volume bumps up to 74.2 cubic feet. Unfortunately for the RAV4, its competitors' approach and departure angles, as well as ground clearance, are somewhat more beneficial should a rock or rut arise. Pricing varies once you exercise your option. The Forester Touring's basic pricing of $37,720 is less than the $38,930 of the RAV4 TRD Off-Road. The price of this test RAV4 is $41,710 due to extras like two-tone paint, a digital rearview mirror, and ventilated front seats. RAV4 vs Forester, which is faster? The distinctions between this pair's instrumented performances are negligible, even when one is presented as a grizzled explorer and the other as a sophisticated cruiser. The RAV4 reached 60 miles per hour faster than the Forester, doing so in 8.2 seconds as opposed to 8.5 seconds. Through the quarter mile and the passing maneuver at 45 to 65 miles per hour, that split narrows slightly. Both cars held the skid pad with an average lateral grip of 0.81 grams and finished the figure 8 in around 27 seconds with an average lateral grip of 0.62 grams. Despite having TRD spec all-terrain tires, the Forester stopped at 60 miles per hour in 125 feet while the RAV4 did so in 117 feet. Here, the winner won't be decided by the numbers. Instead, what distinguishes these SUVs is how they feel. Each offers qualities that will fit a person's preferences more, but only one can come out on top. Both of these crossovers lack a very potent engine, as seen in the outside world. Driving up a grade without turbochargers or hybridization can feel taxing in both cases. The RAV4's engine was described as loud, agrarian, unrefined, no power to be found until the torque swings north of 4,000 revolutions per minute by features editor Christian Seabaugh. Eric Iapana, associate road test editor, gave the Forester's engine a better review, calling it more than competent, but he did admit that its droning can be a touch much at times. The Forester's drivetrain performs better in other areas. Because it lacks gears, its CVT doesn't hunt for ratios as the RAV4's 8-speed automatic does. Although the RAV4's upshifts are often seamless, they start too soon since the car is tuned to have greater fuel economy. It has trouble downshifting, and when it does, the shifts are jerky. Furthermore, compared to Toyota's on-demand technology, Subaru's full-time all-wheel drive gives a better sense of stability. The Forester's powertrain has less to apologize for, with the exception of a relatively abrupt throttle tip-in. From one driver's seat to the next, it is obvious that the Toyota is more comfortable. The TRD off-suspension roads feels firmer than the conventional RAV4's, despite the fact that off-road suspension is typically mild so it can better adapt to trail obstacles. Nonetheless, the body is effectively separated from the ground surfaces. Well, it rides over bumps hard, but only a little amount of motion is transmitted to the cabin, so you aren't constantly being tossed around. This is made better by the surprising pleasant hefty steering. It offers a good feel and feedback because it moves quickly and directly. The RAV4 feels heavy and sturdy as a result of these features. Although the Forester's chassis is less stable, it does a better job of absorbing impacts. Nothing escapes the suspension, according to features editor Scott Evans. I can feel every bump in the road, even though hits aren't very harsh. That's because the Forester keeps moving around in a lane as a result of constant body motions caused by even little pavement undulations. This makes it necessary to make frequent tiny corrections in order to keep the car oriented in the right direction, especially because the steering feels dreadful, mushy, bland, and lacks any road feel. Nonetheless, unlike the RAV4, more impacts occur without being severe. Among the two, the Forester offers a more comfortable ride. Despite having a longer stopping distance than the RAV4, our test drivers seem to favor the Forester's brake feel. Despite the length of the pedal stroke, there is a linear increase in stopping power. In contrast, the RAV4 delivers a nice initial bite before turning flat with more pedal effort. It accomplishes this while still being responsive. Not fun, but definitely useful. We may now refer to this comparison as having one of these that drove far better than the other. Practical reasons basically select our winner because that isn't the case. As you approach the RAV4, you have the humorous sensation that it is attempting to pass for a large, bulky SUV. Its broad hood and big side mirrors appear to belong on a vehicle in a higher category. Large door handles and knobs are comfortable to grasp, particularly those with textured rubber finishes. There are several places to store items around the interior. The shelves to the left of the steering wheel and in front of the passenger make efficient use of available space. The inside of the Forester is less spacious and has an overly complicated design. What a variety of trim, textures, and colors of black there were, Iapana exclaimed. But it's a place that makes driving simple. Beyond the highly adjustable front chairs, there is extensive soft-touch finishing that provides every limb with a comfortable place to relax. We will never criticize Subaru for its dedication to big windows and low belt lines. Although it doesn't always match the newest fashions in terms of style, it guarantees the finest external visibility. The RAV4's technology and material quality are merely passable. The doors have a hollow sound, and the shift knob jiggles, indicating that the doors are not securely fastened. We weren't impressed with the RAV4's small, grainy infotainment touchscreen, and the confusing layout of its user interface. Notice that the RAV4 from 2023 has a larger and better display. The infotainment system in the Forester has a marginally nicer appearance but is simpler to use. Furthermore, the driver can see important information on a secondary display that is mounted high on the dashboard. Rarely do second-row seats feel as comfortable as those up front, but with the Forester, it does. There is plenty of headroom, and the quality of the materials looks unaltered. Air vents and USB outlets are available for rear passengers in both the Forester and the RAV4, but the Subaru's back seat is more upscale due to its size, comfort, and ease of access. Toyota's inclusion of so many driver assistance tools is commendable, but their usability is lacking. Yet, what annoys me more is how much the lane keep system allows the RAV4 to weave between the lines. The adaptive cruise control frequently reacts a fraction of a second slower than would be ideal.